Point of order.
The time has expired, Mr. Chairman. I hope I get that same extra 30 seconds.
Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely. The chair had acknowledged earlier the generous use of time. And
You are
I'm
generous.
honored to extend that generous use of time to my colleague, Mr. Biggs, for 5 minutes or so for a question.
You are a generous chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My first question will go to you, Mr. Humaya. Can you discuss how the cartels have been able to build stronger illicit networks within the United States?
Essentially, the cartels have been utilizing all kinds of revenue streams. It started with cocaine, it's moved to synthetics, it's now into human smuggling, human trafficking, and there's a range of illicit enterprises that the cartels are taking over. They're not just operating in Mexico, they're operating all throughout the Western Hemisphere, in fact, the world. They're appearing in Europe, they're appearing in Canada, and what they're doing is they're creating an enterprise that's upwards of cocaine itself, $170 billion annually a year. So these are things that many governments have a hard time to outpace in terms of the financial resources. So our hope is not to outpace them dollar for dollar, but yet to understand how they operate and dismantle those logistics.
And when was the last time you were at the border, Mr. Humaya?
About 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Sheriff, a question for you is, will you please just briefly discuss the importance of the 287G program, how you've utilized it, and whether you think it's working?
Well, it's absolutely working. And one of the things that is important with these immigration detainers is that what Ms. Doyle didn't acknowledge in her response is that under policy, every single time that one of these, quote, voluntary detainers is issued, it's accompanied by an arrest warrant, an I-205 or an I-200. So they are not voluntary in the sense that they have a warrant that's accompanying them. So there are three models. There is the warrant service officer program to get these warrants served in the jail. So there's a jail enforcement model, which is full-blown investigations in the jail. And that is the DIO, or designated immigration officer on the street, where we help ICE. And we're helping ICE to take these criminal illegals off the street. And it's very important, and it does go to public safety. And it is short-sighted, and it's wrong to have sanctuary city policies because it creates officer safety issues and public safety issues. These sanctuary city policies are saying is that we're not going to hold these criminal illegals, we're going to put them back out on the street. And then ICE has to go back into the community and find these criminal illegals. If they would just allow ICE to come into the jails and take the rapists and the murderers and the robbers and the burglars and the child porn people out of the jails and deport them, they would keep them from going into the street, and everybody's all up in arms about these collaterals, these people who don't commit any crime. Well, let them go into the jails and focus on the criminals, and then that wouldn't happen. They are short-sighted in these sanctuary city policies.
Thank you. And you get to the point, which is if you hand over the individual in the jail, everybody's safer. The officer's safer, the criminal's safer, and the community's safer.
100%, Mr. Biggs.
So I just have to ask this question of you, Mr. Humaya. Is it radical to open up your border? Is it extreme to open up your border? Is it cruelty is the point when you open up your border and that causes something like 60% of every female coming across the border to be raped? And no matter what the age is, and about 35% of every male coming across to be raped. Does that sound like a humane policy?
Absolutely not. If you want to dismantle your democracy, you have to dismantle the sovereignty. A border protects the sovereignty of your country. The first step to dismantling democracy is to erode a sovereign border. And in fact, migrants are oftentimes the victims of all this. They're the ones that get killed, raped, trafficked. And so the best form of migrant care is actually border security.
And Sheriff, when's the last time you were at the border? Any border, Texas, Arizona?
It's been a while.
Okay. Ms. Doyle, when's the last time you were at the border?
I would say about 10 months ago.
10 months ago? Which border did you go to?
I've been both of the San Diego sector as well as El Paso sector.
Okay.
And the northern border as well, I should mention.
Okay.
By Seattle.
So I was there about 3-4 weeks ago myself down the border, and it's night and day, because I've been down to the border. I grew up in what was in a border district in Arizona. It is night and day. And what causes that? Is it because we enacted new legislation? No. I don't care what President Biden, former President Biden said. He said you have to have new legislation. That was false. It was a lie. What it took was enforcing the law. And that's not what the sanctuary cities are doing. We had a nice discussion, your mayor and I did. Had a nice discussion with all the mayors They all have criminal culpability. I think you've misinterpreting the statutes, the 3 federal statutes that I referenced last week. The bottom line is, if you want to have safer communities, you control your border. You have to control your border, and you enforce the law. That is what's dried it up. If you go down to the TO res and what you see there, and I met with some folks from there today, I will tell you, I like those people a lot, but they, through the Vehicle Valley, that is the #1 human trafficking, drug trafficking, and human smuggling corridor in the world, even now, because we can't enforce the law adequately in that 62 linear miles. You want safety, that's what you profess you want, then you better enforce the law. And that isn't cruelty, it's not cruelty, it's not, you know, in spite of the rudeness of my
of order.
colleague across the aisle.
We did
It's
not
not
give
extreme,
Mr. Bell an extra minute.
it's not
Gentleman
radical.
pause. You recognize a point of order. The chair has allowed members on both sides to speak.
Certainly,
I
but he
believe
was
over a
actu-
minute.
No, actually, he was only over 30 seconds, and the gentlewoman interrupted him, and he did not get to finish his
We
point.
don't need to check the record. I mean,
Oh, we can.
the chair is going to allow the gentleman to conclude his question.
I think we should do that, but I do think that we should
Mr.
continue
Chairman,
on fairness.
Mr.
Biggs is
Chairman,
recognized.
thank you. And I'm happy to yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your indulgence.
Thank you, sir.